Welcome back to eMagazine. You're right on time for Gallery Watch today, on this Wednesday. Now, we got the chance to just sit down and talk to spoken word artists and just to try to understand what it really means to be a spoken word artist and what they've been going through, especially during this tough period of COVID-19. Well, let's get right into that. Joining me for today's conversation are spoken word artists well known as Teardrops and Namatsi Lukoye, who are joining me today as we look at a conversation what exactly it means to be a spoken word artist. And I feel like this is a conversation we don't really have as much in our mainstream medias. Now I'm just going to jump right into talking to you guys. I'm super excited and thank you for joining me first of all.
Thank you for having us.
Great.
Thank you for having us.
Wonderful. I'm super excited. I hope you guys are excited as well. Now, of course, there are no shortcuts to hard work when you're pursuing an art like spoken word. It doesn't get easier by the day. I wanted to get to know what are some of the things you all have had to do as individuals to be more articulate, confident, creative, and exceptional at your spoken word craft. And I'll just start off with you, Namatsi, then we can move on to Teardrops and get to know what you guys have had to do to get yourself where you are today.
Thank you for having us on the show. It's nice to see you, Teardrops. We actually
Nice to see you, Namatsi.
Yes, we actually started the spoken word almost the same year with Teardrops, and that was in almost 2010. And for me, I've had to do a lot just to be where I am right now. I was working, so it was balancing work and spoken word. At the moment, I was doing spoken word as just a passion. But there was a lot of training in terms of writing had to be good, performance had to be good. You had to be present at shows to create the name and things like that. And then you had to be also vigilant, always on the lookout for opportunities to be able to rise and things like that. But definitely the journey has gone from developing the writing, developing the performance, and developing the product. Once you have a good product, it's easy to be now in the market and say that you're doing something something that is as good as what you've packaged.
Thank you so much for that. It's beautiful. What about you, Teardrops? What did you have to do to get yourself to where you are in terms of your creativity with spoken word?
Well, first of all, I don't know how to put it, but I feel like first hard work, perseverance, because we when we started writing, nobody knew about spoken word. We were first introducing spoken word to a place where people don't know first what kind of artist is. So it was first the introduction whereby you have to give them in small portion, not so much portion it will choke them. So it took us time, and it also took me time. And I feel like at some point I had given up on poetry because it wasn't paying. Most of my friends have so many friends who are poets, and they just left poetry for doing other things. But we had no.
I think we've lost Teardrops for a second there. Tumekupoteza kidogo. So I'll just, in the meantime, I'll just go back to Namatsi. And I just wanted to know how you fared on during COVID-19. Because, COVID-19 hit, and I feel like a lot of creatives in general, not just, spoken word artists, it hit creatives super, super hard, COVID-19. I wanted to know how you've been dealing with that. Has it been an easy year for you? What are you hoping for next year?
Should I go ahead?
Yeah, you can just go ahead and then we'll go back to Teardrops.
For me, COVID-19 came in doubles because first I discovered I was pregnant in January.
Wow.
So when the lockdown and everything happened in March, it became even harder because at the time I was planning to do lots of shows and things like that, but now there was no shows or anything to do. And then, as they say, mtoto anakuja na sahani yake. I was lucky to get a grant from Africalia that supported a project that I was doing about pregnancy and COVID, because the situation and the period itself was already strenuous to me as an artist. And now, plus the fact that I was pregnant, it was double, because you kind of feel alone. You get to do everything. Even exercising is tough. You have to put on a face mask. You have to worry about money. And I'd say it has been carrying both worlds, the reality of being pregnant and the reality of not having money to do these things. And so as things become lighter, and Zoom and events becoming digital has at least made the art a bit easier. So there is light at the end of the tunnel, still struggling, but at the end of the tunnel, there's definitely something that we can see.
That's very true. Congratulations, and I'm happy that you've been able to get through this tough time of COVID-19. Now, Teardrops, how has 2020 treated you as an artist, as a creative? And I'm pretty sure you were affected by COVID-19. I wanted to know how you were able to deal with that.
Well, it had both good and bad side on it. Let me start with the good side. The good side is that when the year was starting, I had a lot of shows. So I think God was also preparing me for 2020. So I had shows during the end of last year and the beginning of this year. So I had a couple of festivals, and I was also booked in Europe this year. Actually in November, I was supposed to be performing in Europe. But I had 4 or 5 shows, but they were still looking for more shows. I was invited to so many festivals that got cancelled. Actually, in June, so I was like, okay, so no shows, and I think that not more international. I've been to more international stages, but this one was opening more opportunities for me. So one, we cancelled all that.
Wow.
And then we started learning how to make money from social platforms, and I felt like yes, there's so many ways of doing this. I've had a couple of shows in between, both online and offline, and I feel like I'm on stage, and I feel like yes, I can't complain. To be honest, I can't. Personally, I can't complain. I can't complain. The year is ending now, and we don't know what 2021 holds. I'm just more than happy to let this year end.
Okay, it's true. We always have to have gratitude despite having the tough year. Now, I wanted to know, from your perspective as spoken word artist, would you say that spoken word community, looking into Kenya specifically, is an interdependent community? And if you think so, why is it critical for there to be some kind of support within this space? And would you say, as spoken word artists, you've supported each other, and has the government even been in a space where they're supporting you in any kind of way? I'll start off with you, Teardrops. We'll start with you, I'll start off with you, then we can move on to Namatsi.
I think you can start with the market as I'm still
thinking about it. Sawa, Namatsi, you can give us your answer on that, then we come back to Teardrops.
First, that's a very deep question. One, I'd like to finish the last question about COVID. Is I'd say it has required artists to work harder than they have ever worked before.
That's very true.
To still be in the limelight. That was the hard work part of it, and. This other question, the spoken word community is kind of not so much of I'd say we're struggling with we say when we say underground, we don't mean that they don't have anything. We mean conscious. We're struggling with conscious and struggling with the mainstream society.
Yes.
So it's a balance of, do I want to be conscious, at the same time I want to make money from my consciousness. That is where we as artists are a bit stumbling as artists. We want to make an ends, but we still want to be deep. And now the evolution of this depth has to come in a certain kind of way. Now, in terms of support, there are, I'd say, kind of cliques. People have found friends, people it's easy to work with to get somewhere else. Others are still struggling by themselves. So I would say that there is we need to come together more to get more support from organizations such as the government, we can't make it instance of like 10 people, 20 people, one person. Yeah. So there is support, but so far I'd say we're evolving. So it has started as small clicks, but eventually who knows that maybe one day we'll be a voice by ourselves.
Very true, and you've raised a point that I'd like to talk about, which is being paid for your conscience. Would you say that is one of the major challenge that spoken word artists face a lot in Kenya, getting paid for your craft? I wanted to get to know what you think about that, Teardrops, then we can go back to Namatsi.
Honestly speaking, to be honest, I think also depends with your work rate, your gifts,
Yes.
and your connection and your network. You see,
Yeah.
this is how it works, and it will work everywhere. And even you can be a witness if you're starting from some place. If someone calls you for a gig today and you go for free, you will always be performing for that guy for free for the rest of your life. See?
Yes.
But if they have to give you something, they'll have to give you peanuts. Until date, I still struggle with charging, like telling people who are my close friends that this is my rate. No, because these people started supporting you way back when I had nothing, and I feel like I owe these people a huge favor, you see. But still, as I'm growing, I get different people, and there are people that I give them my rate, and they're like, "You sure that is your rate?" No. There are people who rate you much better, and there are people who will never rate at any. So what you need, first of all, is you need a person who knows your value and your worth, and that's why the managers and the PR and everybody come. You look for a team that can handle that, because it will take you a lot of time for you to start getting paid from gig at the point,
Yes.
But the moment you start getting paid, for us as artists, we don't get paid because we have our art displayed on TV, on radio. We get paid for performing, and most of the time is that you have to do better on stage for you to get the next gig. So for us, it's always the performance. They don't look for anything else.
Okay.
So, and in terms of payment, it depends with how you approach these people, with how you tell these people. So if you'd rather say, okay, I'm going to perform here. For me personally, if I was asked, if I was told to come and perform in Madari, I will charge them quite much expensive than how I perform on State House. To be honest, because State House, I'm looking for clients. In Madari, I'm coming to showcase people and I'm coming to make people have fun. I want people where I get to perform my next performance. Where will it come from? Who is my target audience?
Very true.
That also depends more as an artist.
So you need to understand that you need to package yourself as a brand, and that way you are able to get paid as the brand that you are. Now, Namatsi, what's your take on that particular question?
I've created different kind of events. I have events for catharsis when I just need to perform because I feel like it keeps my juices flowing, listening to others and giving what I feel. So I have events that I perform for free because I want to perform them for free.
Yes.
I have charity events. If somebody's doing a startup and things like that, I have a rate card for charity events. And I have a rate card for corporate events and things like that. So I kind of just package them differently. And I'm my own PR and manager. I work with my partner for managing and things like that. So it's able to keep me in the loop of being professional and being an artist, because I don't want to go to a place and people are like, oh, there's another artist. No, I get there with it's an organization and I'm selling a product. So it's about how I present myself and how I lay down what I'm doing on the table. Yes.
Okay, that's very true. I totally like how you laid that out. I wanted to get to know from a perspective of spoken word artists, would you say the Kenyan creative space is accommodative of spoken word artists? Because when you look at the creative space in Kenya, it's quite broad. There's so many people involved within the creative space, and you are a small community that is growing as we move forward in the years. So would you say the creative space is accommodative or not? Teardrops, unafikiriaje about that?
Honestly, I feel like we have all that spaces and opportunities and platforms and everything. Yeah. But still, there's a place whereby I feel like poets and the spoken word will reach if we get more airplay on TV, if we get more airplays on radio, because the stage performance is not enough.
Yes.
You know, even for all those people, musicians and all those people that are doing things that get airplays on radio and TV, most of them get performance. Everybody, even those people established who are playing on TV, they all depend on the radio, because there's more mass when a lot of people listen to that at the same time.
Very true.
Platforms, we can't deny.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you get recognized. You can get there's comedy, there's poetry. There's comedy, there's all those things, acrobat, there's dancing, and then there's poetry. Before, there was never, you could get, if you look at poster, you will see like there's even eating competition and there's no poetry. But now, if we can get poetry on your poster and your flyer, we've made it. For us, we feel like we've made an achievement and we've made a difference. So there's more of us, more gifted poets, but if only we could get airplay. This stage is not enough for all of us. These people are quite many for just one page.
I hear you on that, Teardrops. It needs to change sooner than later. Namatsi, what about you? What do you think about that?
Yes, I'd say that it's nice that opportunities have risen. I would really strongly agree with Teardrops. If there's a lot more of airplay without the force of having to be mainstream, then you would also get more, and you'd get to know more and more poets. Because yes, we know poets, but we know poets who've really made it in the mainstream. We don't know poets who are really also. So if we could get an airplay without the biasness of actually just the listening of we want to listen to this words because they relate to this, then it would bring the art up more. Because right now the artists are shaping themselves to be queen. There's nothing that is actually going out there to look for them. So a wider airplay. That's
wider airplay, okay. Now, one of the reasons why I actually even wanted to sit down and speak to spoken word artists is the fact that over the years we've had read conversations and articles on whether poetry is dead. I want to know, is this a facade from where you're sitting, or to some extent there has been a strain in the growth of this particular art in Kenya? What are your thoughts on that, Tanzania? Namatsi, afu tukuje kwako, Teardrops.
First of all, poetry can never die.
100%.
You have to realize that this is one of the oldest forms of art. Like even the Bible has poetry. So the thing is, poetry has evolved. It is evolving. And because it's not mainstream, it's not evolving as fast as the other forms of art. It's actually the evolving of poetry, the spoken word and hip hop are brothers because they come from poetry. They both come from poetry. So it's evolving, not dying. It's just that it's trying to see how it can fit in with the times. The times are changing, and it's also changing.
Okay.
So there are few people. It has a small cloud, not as big as let's say music, but it's moving and it's evolving at its own pace.
And it's going. Very true. Teardrops, are you with us? I wanted to know what your thoughts are on that particular issue. Is poetry dead?
Poetry is life. Poetry is just life. In the beginning, when God was creating the world, He said, "Let there be."
Yes.
And there was. Then that was the first. God was a poet, and the world was created in poetry. And as long as music will still have words, poetry will never die. So if poetry dies, music dies. You know.
Yeah.
We all we need that, because kuna rhyming, kuna all those. In every music, you always listen to the rhyme. That is poetry. Rap means, do you know the full meaning of rap? Rap means rhythm and poetry. That is poetry.
Wow, I've learned something.
If poetry dies, rap dies.
Okay, that's such a beautiful way.
If rap dies, if rap dies, music dies.
That's a beautiful way it's put. Now, because of time, I want to end our conversation. But before we do that, I wanted to know what you guys think Kenyan creatives, such as yourself, should continue to do to promote the growth of spoken word in Kenya, because it's such a beautiful art, and I feel like we need more of it around us, especially within this time where we have millennials going through this period. So what do you think Kenyan creatives like to should continue doing to promote their growth? We'll start off with you, Teardrops. What are your thoughts on that?
Pardon, I couldn't hear you.
I'm saying, what do you think Kenyan creatives should do, such as yourself, to continue promoting the growth of spoken word in Kenya?
for the fact that they've just given us an opportunity to express ourselves, and for us being ourselves without changing anything, we just give them a clap for that, and we're just grateful for that.
Thank you.
Another thing, that they should give us more opportunity on, because I think these people have a great potential on changing. I don't have a problem with the kind of music and the kind of things that are playing now in the area, but I think poets have that thing that I feel like if they get a more bigger and a better platform, like first of all for the radio and the TV and those people are in the entertainment industry. For us, yes, we have words, we have poetry, we have production, but for it to be aired on TV, if you have a program for poetry on TV, these people will just take it out, For me, I feel like if I was asked, I feel like that's the direction that I would take poetry to that level. And so far, Kenyans and the whole world at large who are accepting and we are appreciating our poets and our art. Big up yourself. Me, I can't complain. Because I've seen a lot of people growing. I can see a lot of people doing a lot of things. I'm more than happy, and I'm more than happy.
We're moving forward, 100%. What about you, Namatsi? What should Kenyan creatives continue to do to promote the growth of spoken word in Kenya?
I'd say first thing is to work extremely, extremely hard. You just work hard. And when you work hard, the next thing we need to do is collaborate more, because yes, there are poets whose work is known, but there are good poets whose work is not known. Now, to work with a poet, you have to work hard, because they'll ask you, what do you have to show? What am I gaining by collaborating with you? So work hard and let's collaborate more. In that way, people, our fans will get to know your fans and things like that. So there's a lot of hard work to be done and a lot of collaborations, not necessarily that need money, because we're both artists. I'm an artist and our art is growing, so what can we do that gets to the next level? I can bring this, you can bring that. How do we get to the next level?
Thank you so much for such encouraging words, just getting to understand as spoken word artists what you're going through and what you're planning to do with your craft. It's been a privilege. Thank you so much, guys. That was Teardrops and Amatsi right here with us. Grateful. Thank you so much. Well, that was our conversation on Gallery Watch today. I do hope you enjoyed hearing how exactly spoken word artists are dealing with this period, what their thoughts are on where spoken word in Kenya is, and most importantly, what it means to be a spoken word artist. Remember, you can catch all our replays on our social media handles at Metropole TV KE. Let us know what your thoughts are on all the conversation we have. As for now, guys, because of time, I'm going to end it right here, and I'll see you guys next time.